Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Thursday, September 8th, 2022. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief. I'll tell you, for a solid, not too many frills, but outstanding quick breakfast, can't beat Bread and Butter Kitchen. Had an early morning meeting there yesterday at 7:30 and was just wonderful sitting waterside. Good job, Monica. But that was yesterday, and we have a little bit of news to tell you today, so let's get into it, shall we? Dan Beltsam from the Capitol has a story of a not-so-smart IT guy that was working for the Maryland Comptroller's Office. Apparently, he used a state-issued computer on a state-run network to make death threats to a U.S. Senator, presumably Senator Ted Cruz, back in July. In one message, he said he was coming to murder them all, speaking about going to an event, and in another one said that the Zodiac Killer was the first on the gallows, and he had a fresh militia and weapons. What he didn't have was half a brain to realize that they make VPNs for that stuff, and when you make threats like that, the authorities are going to find you. The 39-year-old Annapolis man did turn himself into authorities, and according to Susan O'Brien from the Comptroller's Office, he is no longer employed. The Anne Arundel County Department of Health is warning the Crofton, Gambrills, Odenton communities about a rabid skunk. The skunk was found in the Two Rivers community in Odenton on September 3rd and tested positive for rabies. If you or your pet may have come in contact with the skunk recently, or if your pet has some unexplained wounds, you want to contact the health department at 410-222-7254. Anne Arundel County State's Attorney Ann Colt-Litis announced yesterday that Hector Rojo, 27 of Alexandria, was sentenced to 36 years in prison for the sexual abuse of a minor and 2 counts of second-degree rape. Back in October of 2020, police were contacted about a sexual assault. Rojo was a friend of the family and ultimately moved into the family's Annapolis area home. He began to abuse the minor by touching the victim's breasts and buttocks, and eventually it progressed to rape. The abuse went on for 2 years before the victim had the courage to report it. If you know or suspect sexual abuse, you want to contact the Sexual Assault Crisis Center at 410-222-6800. And tonight is the first September Sunset Concert Series in the park half of the Annapolis Maritime Museum and Park. This is on Edgewood Road, and on deck tonight is the John Fraze Project. As with all their concerts, it is technically free, but they do ask for a donation to help support the museum. Parking is limited, so ride share, bike there, walk there, maybe even a boat there. If you show an Uber or a Lyft receipt, you'll get a free drink ticket, so that's pretty cool. But speaking of that, social media took our story about Capital Sup losing their lease and created a whole different narrative. Capital Sup lost their lease, period. Hard stop. That's it. The park is still open to the public. There is still free public water access. You can still put in a canoe, a kayak, or a paddleboard at the park. You can still park at the park. The only thing that's changing is that Capital Sup will not be operating their business there beyond the end of this month. And that's all I got news-wise. Podcast stuff up this weekend on the Local Business Spotlight, and I need to finalize this, but Nora Dem-Leitner and St. John's College, and next week, NABS, or Naval Academy Business Services. And if you missed it, do check out the bonus pod we dropped yesterday with Natanya from the Travis Manion Foundation about the upcoming 9/11 Heroes Run on the 18th. And that's a wrap. As always, thank you all for being you, and thank you to our sponsors for today's Daily News Brief, Solar Energy Services, the Kristi Neidhardt Team of Northrop Realty, a Long End Foster Company, and Alpha Engineering. It is Thursday, so we have Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace back from a week off with your Maker Minutes, and George from DCMDVA Weather is here with your locally forecast weather. All that coming up in just a bit, so hang tight.
Hello, energy consumers. This is Rick Peters, president of Solar Energy Services. Have you been looking for ways to save money recently? Maybe you should consider solar energy for your home. Or are you waiting for the technology to get cheaper? If so, how long are you going to wait? Today's solar costs less than 20% of what it cost 10 years ago. But while solar prices have declined every year, so have the financial incentives. Bottom line, if you wait for cheaper solar, you're also waiting for lower incentives. Take my home, for example. My solar system was installed in 2010, and it's been paid off for almost 5 years, and I no longer have to buy any electricity for another 15 to 20 years. If I waited for cheaper solar, I'd still be paying an electric bill. At Solar Energy Services, we have thousands of satisfied customers who are sure glad they didn't wait. So what are you waiting for? Sunshine's a wasted. Call us today for a free solar design at 410-923-6090 or on the web at solarsaves.net.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
When you live near Annapolis, you know how fickle the weather can be. So you need a truly local forecast that's accurate and reliable. Forecast right here in Annapolis. DCMD VA weather is not just for today, but for the rest of the week and the weekend too. Now here's George Young of DCMD VA weather with the weather outlook for today and beyond.
Hey everyone, this is George with DCMD VA Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Thursday, September 8th. It was another day of clouds and some rainfall for the Annapolis region yesterday, but skies should start to clear today, making for a nice stretch of weather today into Sunday. Look for mixed skies today with a small but valid chance for some lingering rain showers, especially in the AM hours with highs 78 to 84 degrees. Ahead of nothing but sunshine Friday with temps 82 to 88 for PM highs, with more sun in mid to upper 80s Saturday, ahead of a return of mixed skies and PM rain chances Sunday, with highs again in the mid to upper 80s, with more of the same expected into at least Monday and Tuesday of next week as we near the midpoint of September 2022. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DCMD VA Weather. Make it a great day out there today. Stay healthy and be safe. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for regular updates each day, along with our website at dcmdvaweather.info. Definitely be sure to download our DCMD VA Weather app on all of your devices from either the Apple or Google App Stores, so you can always stay weather informed.
Another moving moment from Kristi Neidhardt.
One of the biggest questions I'm getting asked right now, what is going on with the housing market? Well, when the interest rates jumped up 2 percentage points, mortgage payments went up 20% for the same home. This is starting to have an effect on the number of buyers we are seeing, with 10% fewer home sales than last spring. However, our inventory is 25% lower than the same time last year. What does all this mean? There are more home buyers than homes on the market, so prices are still increasing. Now more than ever, it's time to work with someone who can guide you with solid, proven advice. Wisdom, proactiveness, and intense marketing make a huge difference. Please give us a call today and let us help you navigate these waters. We promise to educate and guide you with your best interest at heart.
That's another moving moment with Kristi Neidhardt of Northrop Realty, a Long & Foster company. To get in touch, call 410-599-1370 or visit kn-team.com.
Every week, makers, crafters, and educators hold events all over the area. Highlighting some of those, here's our Maker Minutes, brought to you by Annapolis Makerspace.
Hey, this is Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes. It's fair season again, and this weekend is the final weekend for the Maryland State Fair, and the Anne Arundel County Fair starts on Wednesday and runs through Sunday the 18th. On Sunday, check out tea crafting at the Rising Sun Inn in Crownsville, sample different tea blends, enjoy a sweet treat, then make your own tea blend to take home and share. On Wednesday, the Muddy Creek Artists Guild has a Do Art bookmaking workshop with no-sew books at the Deal Elks Lodge at Kittens and Cups, Annapolis' own cat cafe. On Saturday, check out their cross-stitch class with a Good Vibes pattern at Knits and Pieces off of Bestgate Road. On Saturday, they have a fast-track Learn to Knit class, a beginner knitting class for those who want to be fast-tracked through the process. On Sunday, their Learn to Knit Socks class starts, and on Tuesdays, their Learn to Knit a Weekender Sweater class. And there's more classes coming up later in September, October, November, and December. At Whole Foods in Annapolis, today their Half Pint Kids Club is doing red, white, and blue cupcakes. Then on Tuesday, their Half Pint Kids Club is doing fruit top toast. At Art Farm in Annapolis, tonight they're having a sketch night, not a drawing class, but a fun and social sketch session with a live model. Also tonight, their first exposure photography class starts. Then on Saturday, there's Process and Pattern, underwater seascape for teens and adults in the early afternoon. Then on Sunday is another Vibe Flow and Chill Yoga. And their kids' fall semester is starting up. Saturday, check out their Inspired by Nature class for ages 6 through 8. And registration is open for their other fall classes starting in the coming weeks, with classes for kids such as embroidery, found art sculptures, writing short stories, graphic design, and lots more. At the Anne Arundel County Public Library System this week, tomorrow at Discoveries, the library at the mall, they're having a pre-K art party. Saturday, the Bush Annapolis Library is doing Flicks and Sticks. Practice your knitting, crocheting, and other needlework while watching a movie. On Monday, Deal is doing a Nature Explorers Club. And Odenton is doing monthly mixed media, art inspired by music. Tuesday, the Eastport Annapolis Neck Library is doing Make It. They supply the materials, and you bring your creativity, for ages 10 and under. Then on Wednesday, Edgewater is doing skeins and stitches, more knitting and crocheting. Bush Annapolis has another Nature Explorers Club. And Odenton is doing knits and knots with yet more fiber arts. And at Unallocated Space in Severn, tonight is their virtual happy hour. Tomorrow they're doing a hybrid virtual and in-person DC 443 Hack the Box working group, honing cybersecurity skills in a fun and social environment. Monday is their project night. Tuesday, their electronics fundamentals class continues. And then on Wednesday is an open house. If you have any questions about the Annapolis Makerspace, the Maker Minutes, or any of these events, feel free to contact me at trevor@makeannapolis.org. And you can find links to all of these events at the Annapolis Makerspace website, also at makeannapolis.org. And whether you're making art, software, sawdust, or just a mess, chances are you're already a maker. This has been Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes.
The benefits of a good night's sleep are well documented. Sleeping well prevents weight gain, improves concentration and creativity, and boosts the immune system. So, what keeps you up at night? If you run a business, then the security of your computer network may be one of those things. Threats like ransomware and phishing are becoming increasingly sophisticated and pose a real risk to any business. Don't let these cyber threats keep you up at night. At Alpha, they've been helping their customers sleep better for over 30 years by monitoring in real time and hardening network defenses. And for those irritating IT issues that arise every day, Alpha's just a phone call away, helping your business run smoothly and helping you sleep better, knowing Alpha is on guard. Give Alpha a call to see if they can ease your worries and help you get the rest you deserve. Find them at alphagetsit.com.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.